coming out today, and thank you to our friends at Vape and No Distro and others who helped organize this for us today. My name is Paul Blair. I'm the campaign manager for the Right to Vape tour. If you haven't been following us on Facebook or checked out our website, I'll give you a little bit of background about what we're doing other than having fun in this great weather. So over the month of October, we are traveling through, I think, 20 states promoting the Cole Bishop Amendment and change in the predicate date. Does everyone know what that means? And if not, tell me and I'll briefly go through it. Or I'll just assume one of you's lying. All right. So this year, you may all know that the Food and Drug Administration deemed e-cigarettes and vapor products as tobacco products as of August 8th this year. And so what that means is that 2 years from now, every company that produces vapor products, whether it's devices, liquids, or anything remotely related to a product that you could use to vape. In 2 years, if you haven't gotten permission from the Food and Drug Administration to continue to sell these products, the FDA will seize them, and they will no longer be available in vape shops, online, or to consumers. And that process, the FDA estimates will take 500 hours per application, per product, per SKU, and may cost upwards of $1 million per product, per flavor, per SKU. And so what that means for nearly everyone who produces, manufactures products, is that, and that's if you can afford to go through the process. What that's going to mean is prohibition 2 years from now. And that's without a guarantee that even if you go through the process, even if you can get the money and spend the time applying for the application, what's known as a pre-market tobacco application, the FDA doesn't have to approve any of the products that you submit through that PMTA process. And so our effort, as part of this tour and through the end of the year, is to change what's known as the predicate date. So the Tobacco Control Act passed in 2009 that gave the FDA the authority to regulate cigarettes, smokeless, and roll your own tobacco, established a date of February 15th of 2007, where they said any tobacco product that was on the market at that time or before didn't have to go through this process to get permission to sell products. So Marlboros, Camels, any of the cigarettes currently on the market, they didn't have to apply and go through this process. But any product, any tobacco product that hit the market after that time, including about 99.99% of all vapor products currently on the market, has to go through the PMTA process. And so what our effort includes is modernizing that predicate date to the date of deeming regulation this year, so August 8th, 2016. It doesn't solve all the world's problems, but it does allow all of the companies who sell, manufacture, produce, and distribute products to vape shops and to consumers like you to continue to do so. And so what we're pushing for is a modernization of the predicate date, and there are a couple of ways that can happen. The first is the Cole Bishop Amendment, which is an amendment that was included in the House Agriculture Appropriations Bill and passed by a vote of 31 to 19 earlier this year through the Appropriations Committee. And so at the end of the year, sometime at the end of November, beginning of December, Congress will come back into session after elections, and they'll pass what's known as an omnibus package or a continuing resolution. They'll pretty much figure out everything they want to fund through next year when they can fight about it again. So our hope is to get included the Cole Bishop language that was in the House Agriculture Bill that modernizes that predicate date to solve half the world's problems this year. And so what we're doing is a combination of events like this. Between Greg and myself and others, we've been doing meetings behind the scenes with district directors and members of Congress throughout this year to talk about the impact of small businesses and consumers like you. And so our hope is that as we send emails and make phone calls and reach out to our members of Congress on their top 5 priorities for things they want to fund or include in the end of year package, this will be one of them. Because when you've got tens of thousands of businesses, when you've got more than 10 million consumers using these products, it's pretty important. When you think about and look at what's in the news for the important things that Congress is talking about, there's debates on Zika funding, how to fight and pay for treatments for mosquito issues. They really only impact like half of Miami. Well, when you're talking about thousands of people as Congress's top priority, our hope is that when you're talking about millions, tens of millions of people, and actually closing down businesses, new businesses that didn't exist years ago, we can have them prioritize this as well. So that's what this effort is about. That's why I'm glad that all of you guys are out here today. If you haven't sent emails, you can do so on your phone or on the iPads at righttovape.org. If you're tweeting any pictures or posting anything on Facebook, use the hashtag RTVTour. And this effort is a joint effort by a couple of organizations, of which you're going to hear from in a couple of minutes. We're partnering with the American Vaping Association, Greg Conley, which most of you probably already know. We're partnering with CASAP, Consumer Advocates for Smoke-Free Alternatives Association, which has something like 205,000 members now. So if you are not a member, by signing up either on our website or at CASAP.org, membership is free. They'll keep you up to date with what threats exist at your local, state, or at the federal level, so definitely do that. And then the Smoke-Free Alternatives Trade Association, the association that represents something like 1,500 businesses from across the U.S., is also a partner of this effort as well. And so without going into too many details about what AVA does, I'm sure most of you already know Greg and the work that he does. So if Greg could come on up here and talk a little bit about AVA and this fight and what he's doing and why it's important you guys work with AVA and with this effort. Greg?
Thank you, Paul, and thank all of you for coming out today. Originally, Idaho was not on our tour. We were just going to do a very, very long road trip to Billings, Montana, which is our next stop. But we had people from Idaho contacting us. We had people from Utah contacting us. And I am thrilled to see that we planned this event and you all turned out. So thank you all. Now, AVA. We are a nonprofit that does not represent anyone in the industry. We advocate for all small and medium-sized businesses with the idea that when you have innovation, when you have competition, when you have regulations that allow for small and medium-sized businesses to compete, that is the market that is going to lead the most smokers to quit. And we've already seen the success of vaping here in Idaho. We've already seen vaping build small businesses. Lotus Technologies is here with 11 stores throughout Idaho. That is the kind of story that the two Idaho representatives in Congress and your two senators need to hear. The good news is that if you live from Boise to the east, your representative is Mike Simpson in the U.S. Congress. Earlier this year, Representative Simpson voted yes on the Cole-Bishop amendment as part of the House Appropriations Committee. But, it's a big but. That's not enough. We need Congressman Simpson, and if you live to the left of Boise and north, Congressman Rayola Labrador, to stand up and go to leadership and say, please include the change and the modernization of the predicate date in the final omnibus bill this year. Your two senators, Senator Mike Crapo, Senator Risch, good job, Paul. You can always rely on Paul being nerdy. They need to hear from you. Business owners. I am talking to business owners right now. You're going to hear from Alex in a minute to talk about the consumer front. Business owners, you have no excuse. Congressmen, senators, their staff, they love to hear and meet with small business owners. You are the lifeblood of the local economy. You are employing people. You are filling what could otherwise be empty storefronts. You're paying local taxes. You are a real member of this local community. So please, there is no excuse. When you get home, look up their numbers. Tomorrow morning, call. They are all, your two congressmen, your two senators, they are in the district. They are in Idaho until they go back in late November, early December. And all of them, or the two congressmen, they're up for re-election. So it's never easier to get FaceTime with a representative than when they need your vote. So make the point, I'll wrap up, make the point that we can't wait for another year, for another budget bill to try to make this fight. If we don't succeed this year, small businesses in Idaho will start to close. The wholesalers that provide products to the small businesses in Idaho will start to close. We can't wait. We need the business owners to go to your 2 congressmen, your 2 senators, and make it known how important this is, and that they are specifically asked, and that you follow up with them to see if they've done it. Specifically asked, they go to leadership and ask that the modernization of the predicate date is included in the final omnibus bill. That's enough inside baseball talk for now.
Wait, Greg, tell them why they need to ask leadership.
Yes, thank you. The reason why this monstrosity of a bill that Congress is going to vote on in December, it is all done, the final negotiations, behind closed doors. There's going to be 4 or 6 people in the room, Democratic leadership, Republican leadership. Your 2 congressmen, they're not going to be in that room. There's not going to be a vote, a single individual vote, on whether to include the predicate date change. So what needs to happen is those members from Idaho have to go to leadership before the final negotiations and say how important it is. And I'll add this. From what we've heard from Republican leadership, not many congressmen have come to them and said, this is a priority. So we need you. We can't do everything. The consumers, you can add that extra punch, as Alex will get into it, but ultimately, the small business owners are what's going to move us over the finish line. So that's why it is so important that we get businesses involved. Also, talk to Paul, talk to Alex. The American Cancer Society, which has spent the last 5-6 years demonizing these products, their corporate building is just 2 blocks away, or 2 miles away. I think about 3:45, maybe we'll take the bus, and a lot of you, to the American Cancer Society. Get some great video footage, leave some notes for them. You can write down your stories. Let the American Cancer Society know that the war on vaping is a war on people just like you. Who's up for that? Awesome. So without further ado, I've gone on far long enough. Alex Clark, the legislative coordinator for CASA. Give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Idaho, for providing such wonderful weather. We came from rainy Seattle yesterday, which is nice in its own right, but it's great to be outside with all of you guys here today. And so, yeah, to supplement kind of what Greg was saying, and that the industry has a very vital role to play in all of this. They're the ones making money off of the products. They're the ones that are able to fund the trade associations that can provide the lobbyists. They can do a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes to get these laws changed or advanced in our case. But our role as consumers is almost equally as vital, because at the end of the day, no matter how many dollars and cents we throw out about this issue, we are the primary stakeholders. And I just assume, based on all of the people that I've met over the past few years, all of the shop owners here, or manufacturers or distributors, you guys started out just like me as a consumer and realized the value of these products and went on to form your business. So at the end of the day, we all have at least that one thing in common, that we use these products to quit smoking and to improve our lives. When we talk about why this is important and how we contribute to the effort that the businesses are waging with the money, it's that story of community that's very important. What the deeming regulations will ultimately do to our options is shave them down to maybe 3 or 4 products that you're going to find in gas stations. The vape shop, as we know it, really has no reason for existing if that's all they have to sell. And there's a very important component that gets destroyed if we lose our vape shops. It's the gathering place for the community. It's a gathering place to get information, to engage by hopefully shop owners keeping iPads or laptops out where customers can come and take action through CASA's website to communicate with their lawmakers, but also support one another. I assume that a lot of you have been standing in a vape shop when a smoker comes in off the street and they say, my wife, my husband, my friends, my family all told me I have to quit smoking and nothing is working, so somebody sent me here. And you or someone else jumps up off the couch and says, I can help you too. Let me tell you my story. That simple act of reaching out and saying, you're not alone, there are other people here that have experienced this, is very powerful. And you're not going to get that going to the gas station to buy a pre-filled closed system device. Although those products are valuable. We hope that they at least stick around. We lose the community involvement. The other very important thing about this is that we have this technology, we have these products now. There are people right now who are at what some might call a point of no return with smoking. Some people, I think there's a theory floating around there that if you smoke for 20 years, your chances of not being able to recover, your chances of dying of some sort of smoking attributed disease will remain very high for the rest of your life. But if you can get those people at 10, 15 years, right now, they have a really good opportunity to undo all the damage that they've done to themselves. So right now, people have access to these products. Right now, people can change their lives for the better. But the process that the FDA has proposed will delay that engagement, that initiation into a safer product, 5, 10 years. So let's do the math. I mean, eventually that's going to add up to millions of people who could have changed their lives if they had had access to these products, if they had accurate information about these products. Millions of people just in this country could have undone enough damage to extend their lives, to spend more time with their kids, to not smoke around their kids, and ultimately those kids don't grow up to become smokers. When you think about your story, when you share that with your lawmakers, also remember it's not just your story. Your friends, your family, anybody who has quit smoking with these products, improved their lives, you've also improved and ultimately enriched the lives of people around you because you're going to be around longer. Their stories are important too. There was a young man that filled out the email earlier, and I think his girlfriend was with him. I don't know if they're still here. But her response when I asked if you'd like to fill this out too was, I don't vape. That doesn't matter. You're standing right next to somebody who quit smoking with these products. You absolutely have a story to tell. So that is something that we need to do going forward. We need to engage all of our non-smoking, non-vaping friends, get them active, get their stories in the hands of lawmakers as well. Something that Gregory has pointed out in the past, now that this is election season, your candidates are going to be going around doing town hall meetings. Even after election season, your lawmakers are going to be holding these meetings. This is another opportunity for you to get out and engage with them, ask them questions, point blank. How do you feel about vapor products? What do you feel about the regulations? What are you going to do to protect my access to these products? Get on their newsletter, get their announcements, and show up. You're paying for their time anyway, so might as well use it to your benefit. And with that, thank you again, everybody, for coming out. It's a beautiful day, and I don't know if anybody ever got together like this for the gum or the patch or even cigarettes. So once again, here we are. We're a wonderful, diverse community, and let's work to protect it. Thank you.
So if anyone is not going to be joining us wherever Greg is sending us, let's take a picture over at the RV. We've got support coalition signs and I Vape, I Vote signs. So if we could all, in maybe 5 minutes, head over to the RV and we'll get a picture so we can post stuff if that works. All right, again, thank you everyone for coming out. And the hashtag is hashtag RTVape Tour. If you're not following us on Twitter yet, at SaveVape, or on Facebook, facebook.com/right to vape tour. All right, thanks everyone.